Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, you're joining us as we explore the really fascinating journey of sports betting.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking from, its ancient origins right up to the digital revolution that's basically dominating the scene today.
Yeah, it's everywhere now.
Exactly. And we'll be focusing a bit on how this shift is impacting Las Vegas, a place that for so long was sports betting in the U.S.
Right, the main hub.
So think of this as your kind of express route to understanding the key developments reshaping a major part of, both the sports and entertainment worlds.
That's right. And you gave us a great set of articles. They chart this whole historical progression. They detail the crucial legislative changes and give a snapshot of where the industry stands now.
Okay.
So our goal is to, pull out the most important pieces of that puzzle for you so you get a really clear and comprehensive picture of this transformation.
Okay, let's jump in. So where does this story even begin? I mean, it turns out this isn't some recent internet craze, right? Our sources remind us that wagering on sports goes way, way back. We're talking ancient Greece, betting on the original Olympic events.
Wow.
Kind of hard to imagine that now.
It's incredible, isn't it? Thinking about that long history. The human desire to add that extra layer of excitement to competition, it seems pretty deeply ingrained.
Definitely.
And if we jump forward, like you said, to the 1900s in the U.S., we see horse racing, boxing, and baseball really taking hold as the main betting markets.
Right. The big ones back then.
Yeah, those were the sports capturing the public's attention and, where there's that kind of widespread interest, betting just naturally followed.
And then Vegas. Vegas enters the scene. One of the articles highlights a really significant moment, 1949.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas legalizes sports betting, and for decades, it was the only legal place for sports wagering in the entire country.
Yeah.
That's a huge head start.
Massive.
And apparently it was specifically intended to get a handle on illegal bookmaking, bring it out of the shadows.
That early legalization was absolutely pivotal. Las Vegas basically cemented its position as the, undisputed center of legal sports betting in the U.S.
Yeah.
This exclusive status, it didn't just define the city, it also shaped how people thought about sports betting itself. It was something you physically went to Vegas to do.
You had to travel there. But man, the world looks very different now. And here's where it gets really interesting. The source material keeps pointing to PASPA, the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act.
Right. PASPA. For anyone who might not be familiar, what exactly was PASPA and what made overturning it in 2018 such a monumental event?
Okay, so PASPA came into effect back in 92,
What?
and it largely prevented states from authorizing sports betting. There were a few specific exemptions, like Nevada, of course.
Yep.
The intention behind it was mainly about, safeguarding the integrity of sports. That was the argument.
But over time, there was a big shift. Public opinion changed. Legal interpretations of states' rights changed. And then the Supreme Court's decision in 2018 to strike down PASPA. That was the real game changer.
The floodgates opened.
Exactly. Suddenly, the power, the authority to legalize sports betting was handed back to individual states.
And it was like a dam broke. The articles really emphasized that immediate impact. It wasn't long before the big players, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars Sportsbook, they all rushed into this newly open market, overwhelmingly online too.
Yep, mobile first.
You can really see this massive transition, can't you? From that classic Vegas image, right? Betting in the sports book, drink in hand.
The whole vibe.
To the everyday reality now, placing a 3-leg parlay on your lunch break using an app on your phone. It's just a completely different landscape.
Absolutely. And that convenience factor is key. You really got to understand that to grasp the explosion. If we connect this to the bigger picture, repealing Piece P and the super rapid adoption of online platforms, it really represents a significant kind of democratization of sports betting.
Democratization.
Yeah.
Interesting way to put it.
Yeah, because it's no longer restricted by geography, right?
Yeah.
This ease of access combined with better tech, that's what fueled the incredible growth we've seen.
Right.
And what's particularly interesting, thinking about how fast it grew after PSP fell, there was already this huge pent-up demand.
People wanted it.
Yeah, and there was also a pre-existing infrastructure of offshore betting that these new online platforms could quickly tap into. That helps explain why it just took off so immediately.
That makes sense. And speaking of growth, the numbers are pretty wild. Our sources are saying that by, now, 2025, over 35 states have legalized sports betting.
More than 2/3 of the country.
But the really remarkable statistic is where these bets are happening. Apparently more than 80%, 0% of all sports bets in the U.S. now happen online.
It is. That's a huge majority.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of that dominance comes down to how the online experience itself has evolved. It's not just about making a simple bet on who wins anymore.
Oh, not at all.
The industry's gotten incredibly sophisticated, almost like a video game, as some of the articles suggest.
Gamification, yeah.
Exactly. Think about features like live betting, placing wagers while the game is actually happening.
Which is intense.
Totally. Then you have prop bets, betting on very specific things within a game, like will this player score a touchdown? Stuff not tied to the final score.
Right. Player props are huge.
And same-game parlays, where you combine multiple bets from one game into a single wager. Higher risk, higher potential payout.
Yeah, those get advertised a lot.
And, of course, those tempting bet boosts, All these features are designed to create a much more dynamic, engaging experience. It pulls in a wider audience than just the serious traditional bettor. This whole gamification thing is really designed to increase engagement in how often people bet.
Right. It's not just about picking the winner anymore. You can bet on almost anything. And it's become so integrated into just our daily digital lives.
Mm-hmm.
The articles point out how sportsbooks are now woven into the fabric of online content on X, YouTube, podcasts, even showing up during the sports broadcasts themselves. It feels almost unavoidable sometimes.
That seamless integration is so important. It's all about reaching consumers where they already are, where they're spending their time and attention.
Capture the eyeballs.
Exactly. This constant exposure, it helps to normalize sports betting, makes it feel like just a natural extension of how we watch and experience sports. It's about capturing that valuable screen time.
So this naturally brings us to the big question, the one I know a lot of people are talking about, especially given Vegas's long history with this massive boom in online betting. Is Las Vegas facing some serious challenges? Is the original capital of wagering in trouble?
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
And the sources we have, they offer a really nuanced perspective here. It's not as simple as saying Vegas is just, in trouble. Instead, it's undergoing a significant transformation. I mean, the city is no longer the only destination for legal sports betting, right?
Yeah.
That historical monopoly, gone.
Right. That's the big change.
However, it's adapting. It's focusing on its strengths as a broader experience destination. Think about it. It offers massive live events, those incredible Super Bowl watch parties you see.
Oh, yeah. Those look insane.
The electric atmosphere of March Madness lounges. These are immersive experiences you really can't fully replicate just looking at your phone.
Exactly. And the articles also highlight how even the sports books within Vegas are evolving. They're becoming more like these high-end lounges, offering a whole entertainment experience that goes way beyond just placing bets.
Yeah, it's about the vibe again.
It's about the ambiance, the social interaction, the overall spectacle, big screens, comfy chairs, food and drink service.
That's a crucial distinction. So while the sheer volume of bets being placed might be shifting from the physical sports books on the Strip to the convenience of our phones and laptops.
Which makes sense, accessibility-wise.
Las Vegas is really leveraging its other unique assets, its established infrastructure, its huge range of entertainment options, and its long-standing reputation as a premier destination. But yeah, it's also important to acknowledge the economic reality. The revenue generated from the ease of online betting is now spread across many different states and platforms. It's not concentrated primarily in Nevada like it used to be. That's a definite shift in where the money flows.
Okay, so not dying, but definitely changing, evolving.
Evolving is the right word.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the digital transformation of sports betting, it seems like we've witnessed this fundamental shift. The sources really hammer home that sports betting has essentially become a digital economy.
A digital marketplace.
It's all about these sports books actively competing for our attention, our engagement in that digital space.
Precisely. The defining characteristics of this new era are its incredibly fast pace, the visually engaging, often pretty flashy interfaces of these online platforms.
Lots of graphics, lots of prompts.
And its truly global accessibility. You can place a bet from almost anywhere, anytime. It's a world away from having to physically be in a Las Vegas sportsbook.
It really is a dramatic change. And it's important, like you said earlier, to take a moment and appreciate that historical context our sources provided. From those ancient Greek wagers all the way to today's world of, sophisticated algorithms and mobile apps, sports betting has definitely taken a long and winding road.
It has. And, this leads us to maybe a final thought for listeners to consider.
Okay.
Given this profound digital transformation we've seen in sports betting, What other industries or activities are undergoing similar shifts, moving from physical spaces to online platforms?
Good question. Lots of parallels, probably.
Yeah, and maybe even more importantly, what are the broader societal and economic consequences of this widespread trend, this digitalization that we're all experiencing in so many parts of our lives?
Right. Beyond just betting, what does it mean for how we interact, how economies function?
Exactly. It's certainly a fascinating question to think about further.